Another year and another new iteration of Google's folding phone, and this has really always been kind of interesting because Google's bread and butter has really been like refined simplicity at its finest, and also pushing refined software and really impressing with their phones that way. Where this, by all intents and purposes, is kind of complex and not overly simple, right? You have two phones essentially sandwiched into one to become a mini tablet, and then this is like really impressive premium hardware, which typically is not where Google tries to compete on a year-to-year basis with their phones. And so you have a really interesting philosophical sandwich, so to speak, that's really at odds with how Google typically likes to do things. Although this is not Google's first go at a folding device, they've done a really good job here and executed really well in a lot of different ways, but nothing's perfect. Now that large 8-inch super actual display is beautiful. This is a great size and form factor for texting back family members and friends, scrolling through social media, responding to you guys in the comment section, but also it's great for being able to split the screen in half and have that dual display. So you can have, say, your Google Sheets spreadsheets on one tab and then have another document open on another tab to kind of like do your productivity work. Or if you want to watch a YouTube video on one side and then scroll through social media on the other side. This in tandem with Google's exceptionally refined software. So I kind of wish that you could do like the third multitasking window like you can on the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And although some of you are going to go, oh, but who's going to really practically need a third window open? I agree with you, it's definitely niche. But for the money that you're paying for a phone/tablet like this, it'd be better to have more options than less, especially when the phone is more than capable of doing so. But now, in terms of improvements, the Pro 10 Fold here is actually using a gearless hinge mechanism. For comparison's sake, the Z Fold 7 has what they call their armor hinge technology, which feels really good, but that's a gear-based system. Time's going to tell which is going to age the best over the course of the year. But what I can say is that the hinge on the 10 Pro Fold does feel really, really nice. Constant tension throughout the entire act of actually unfolding the device that I think feels really good. My concern, it being a gearless mechanism, how well will this hold up in terms of maintaining tension over time? After many years of using Galaxy folding phones and also with the Z Fold 7, their improved hinge technology there with the gear system, I have confidence that that hinge is going to hold up over time, especially when I want to keep it open in that tabletop mode, so to speak. But time will tell if that's going to fare as well on the 10 Pro Fold, but at least right now, pulling it right out of the box, feels really darn good. And with this new folding mechanism, I have no concerns at all that it's going to fall over when I have it flipped open, so that way I can leave it for pictures and video this way. Kind of like the concerns I had with the OnePlus Open, where you kind of had to have it open at certain angles so it wouldn't fall over. Here, you can leave it open in any orientation you really want to, and it holds really, really strong. They've done a really great job here. Now, one of the big things, of course, with folding phones is how well does the battery life actually hold up on a day-to-day basis, right? Because you have phones, for example, like the Galaxy S25 Ultra, iPhone 17 Pro Max, that are phones that you can take off the charger. It's going to last you basically all day. You don't have to worry at all about plugging this phone in the middle of your day. You just know it's going to get you to the end of your day perfectly fine. And what I can say here about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold so far is that the battery life has actually been pretty solid when I'm using it primarily in just like the normal phone mode, right? When I don't have it flipped open as a tablet. Tensor G5 chipset, even though it's not a powerhouse chip, it's not even close to being as horsepower strong as the other top chipsets on the market. It seems like it's done a good job in terms of battery optimization here, but the more time that I use it in that mini tablet form factor, of course, like with any of the other folding phones in the market, your battery is going to drop a bit faster. Now, I know that AI is a bit of a touchy subject. For some people, it's just like a gimmicky buzzword, and for other people, it elicits feelings of ill will and malicious intent. What I can say is that like the Gemini things that you have here on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, right, with like Nano Banana and being able to generate images and videos, you can do on other devices for sure, right? You can do the same thing on like your S25 Ultra, your Z Fold 7. And honestly, if you really want to, even on like your iPhone devices, you can download Gemini, which I'm more of an Android guy. Apple Intelligence just flat out sucks. And so I've had Gemini downloaded in my 17 Pro Max while I was doing review videos for this. But the other tangible AI things that the Pixel brings to the table, with like your circle to search, of course, being able to use Magic Eraser to remove unwanted elements of a picture. And you also have some new things here like Magic Cue, which is a really helpful AI assistant built into the contextual parts of your device. So for example, we actually just came back from a flight in Chicago for my brother-in-law's wedding, and my mom routinely will ask for the flight information just so that she can track and make sure that we got there safely. Well, as opposed to me having to then ask either Maria for the information, or if I had like in my email or docs somewhere myself, Magic Cue will then bring up a little bubble that has the information that my mom is asking for, so I can just click it and it'll give her all of the information for the flight itself. And so those kinds of things that are going to save you time, that are tangibly, feasibly useful on a day-to-day basis, are awesome on the 10 Pro Fold. And those are the things that I think do matter. We'll definitely be having fun testing out those more tangible elements as time goes on. As far as charging solutions go, this is not going to charge as quickly as the brand new Pixel 10 Pro XL, where there you can get about 70% battery life in 30 minutes. On the 10 Pro Fold, you're getting 50% battery life in the same 30-minute time span, so a gap of about 20%. And the thing is, because the 10 Pro Fold battery life is not as good as the Pixel 10, those extra 20% are going to matter. More likely than not, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is a phone that you're probably going to have to charge at least once per day, somewhere throughout your day. I love that they've sort of stood with the more traditional phone form factor when you have the phone unfolded, where you just have a 6.4-inch display phone with more traditional dimensions, compared to say like the Galaxy Z Fold 7, that although is wider than previous Z Fold phones, is still kind of like that slimmer candy bar sort of form factor. I do prefer the more traditional phone aspect ratio on the Pro 10 Fold for sure. But what I can say is that undoubtedly, I think that the Z Fold 7 just feels a bit better in the hand. It's thinner, it's lighter. And in terms of actual aesthetics, the Z Fold 7 for sure just is a much sexier device to look at. The Pro 10 Fold does look nice. I feel like they did a good job executing a kind of ugly design with the large bezels. You have it rounded on one side and then like the sharper end caps on the other side. Of the phones that I've used, of the folding phones that I've used, it's not my favorite design, but I think Google did do a good job of executing the idea that they had here really well. But if you ask me, in the hand overall, the Fold 7 definitely takes the cake, but the Pixel 9 10 Pro Fold does a really good job of executing that form factor, and it feels good. I'm not saying that it doesn't feel good. I just prefer the way the Fold 7 feels in hand so far. Time will tell if that changes, but the Pro 10 Fold is not bad by any means. So far at least, I've actually been quite impressed with the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. There's still some things that I'm kind of weary of going long term, battery life being one. It's pretty solid so far, but at minimum, it's going to be a phone that you're going to need to charge at least once per day. And then I'm interested to see how the gearless hinge mechanism holds up over time, not in terms of it actually opening and closing, but how long is that going to maintain holding durability when you're trying to use it in like tabletop mode and things like that. But as a whole, cameras are solid as you'd expect. The software is doing a lot of heavy lifting in the background to really get you nice looking, crisp images and video. I've really enjoyed this so far. Going to be a lot more videos coming out, like a comparison video with the Galaxy Fold 7 very soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and have a fantastic remainder of your day. And as always, peace, love, adios, bye guys, and have a great day.